Hi everybody, it's Steph here again, and today what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and show you the inside of the Parker capillary filling system. Now this system was launched by Parker in the region of in the 1950s, and Parker actually launched it as a no mess filling system, a pen that basically fills itself, if you like. Now this particular pen just came to me with a barrel and the hood, and there was no cap with it, so it's come to me as spares. So what I thought I'd actually do is show you how the capillary system works, and let's try and show you how to clean it as well while we're doing it. What you'll see here, this is actually the capillary filling system, or as Parker used to call it, the capillary cell. And I don't know if you can actually notice in the bottom there, you've got some holes to the bottom of the capillary system, where we'll show in a moment where we fill it with ink. On the odd occasion, I've actually had one of these pens where if you actually look inside here, you could see the packaging material or whatever inside was actually pink, and it was actually totally unused, which was very, very, very unusual. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take the capillary system and the feed, etc. apart. Now what I've actually done, now I don't recommend you actually do this at home. The problem with the 61 hoods here, they're very susceptible to cracking, and also if you apply heat to them, to shrinkage, if you like, or distortion. So I don't actually recommend that you try this at home unless you feel totally confident, but I've already actually done it anyway. There's some sort of a sealant inside here which looks like, well, it's actually quite a gunky sealant, but what I've actually done, I've already had the pen apart, so what I'm going to do is grip it with the rubber here and just simply turn the connector like so, and what you'll find is that the connector comes off separate like so. The capillary cell comes off like so, and if we just press the nib a little bit, and as I say, I've already cleaned this, so this has actually come out nice and easily. They don't normally come out this easy, believe me, and again, I wouldn't try this at home unless you feel really confident about it. Okay, but there was heat involved to release the sealant or whatever was holding it in place. Now as you can see, there's the collector, and it's nice and clean. We've got the nib to the end. If we take this little section here, this is actually the feed to the 61, and as you can see, it looks like a standard feed to the top here. The difference being with this particular one, as you can quite see there, it's a long feed, and it obviously has the ink feed channels to the middle there. So it's a very long feed on the 61 capillary fountain pen. If we show you the collector there's the collector. As you can see, it's been nice and cleaned. We can actually take the nib out here, whoops, and drop it. So we'll put the nib to one side, and what you also have on this feed is a little, I'm hoping you can see it there, this little orange washer, if you like, or plastic retaining washer, which we'll just keep on just for now. Okay, if we come back to the capillary filler here, the black here, this particular capillary filler is actually Teflon coated, and what it simply means is when we show in a moment, when you dip it in the ink or whatever, it doesn't stick obviously to the Teflon, and it's nice and clean, and it's a clean way of filling the pen. So it's Teflon coated. Inside, what you have inside the capillary cell, if you like, it has actually, if you like, a sheet of rolled up, I believe it's a perforated plastic, which actually, once you dip the capillary filler in the ink, it seeps in the ink by capillary action, and it seeps in between these perforations on the rolled, if you like, plastic sheet, and the ink actually seeps in between the sheets, and that's how the pen actually fills with ink. Now, some people believe that the way to actually fill this pen is to dip the nib and the nib and the hood into the ink. That is not the case. The way you fill this particular pen is that you dip, as we'll show you in a moment, you dip this bottom end of the capillary feed into the ink, and what it does in a few seconds, by capillary action, the ink seeps into the capillary cell and into the packaging material inside holding the ink. Okay, so what I thought I'd do, as I say, just show you how the pen dismantles. As I say, don't try it at home unless you feel confident, because I reiterate that the particular shells on the 61s are quite brittle. They're prone to cracking or total breakage, and if you apply too much heat, you will distort the hood itself, or it'll have this shrinking effect. So be very, very careful if you do decide to do it at home. So let's pop the pen sort of back together again, and what we need to do is, on the nib here, you'll see, well, I'm hoping you'll see. Okay, I'm trying to get a close-up for you, ladies and gentlemen. There, you can see it to the top there. There's a little tab on top of the nib there. That little tab sits inside a little recess. There you go, on the feed. I'll just put that retaining screw down to one side, and there's a large channel to the top of the feed here, and that's where we align it to. So all we do is just present the, sorry, I'm just looking over the camera, so it's a little bit difficult. So we present the nib with this little tab inside the little channel there, and just push it as far as it'll go. Okay, so there we go. Hope you can see that. And you can see that it has this channel to the top of the feed there, a quite wide channel, so it should align with that particular channel on the collector. Okay, so what we do now is just simply install the top of the feed there inside the collector, and what we do is push it all the way up until it aligns with the top. Oops, not that much. There we go. So it aligns like so in the nib. Okay, so we'll show you. So that's how it actually looks. As you can see, it's got a very long feed to the 61s. Now, what I'll do now is just put the retaining washer back on the collector like so, and then what we'll simply do then is get the capillary cell, if you like, and again this feed goes inside the capillary feed like so, and then just push this little washer over the capillary filler. Again, a little bit difficult when I'm doing it over the camera. Okay, what I'm doing here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not using any sealant or any sort of adhesive or anything. I'm just using it for this particular video, just for demonstration purposes. So it's all actually going to be, if you like, it's temporary, if you like. So we're not using any sealants or anything like that. It's just for this particular video to show you how we take it apart and how we put it all back together again. So what we need to do now is present the collector to the hood, and then what we do is just simply align it as best we can to the top there. There's actually little ridges inside the hood, which will align it correctly once we install the collector like so. There we go. Okay, so you can see the nib is nicely aligned like so. Okay, so I hope that's all nice and clear. And what we're going to do now is place the connector to the bottom of the hood there. Now just bear with me a second, because again I've come a little bit unprepared. But what I'm going to do here, ladies and gentlemen, and before you people actually reply to this particular video and tell me how wrong it is or what I'm actually doing wrong, I'm actually applying some silicone grease to the threads here. Okay, now if I just get to wipe my hands. Okay, now the reason I'm applying this silicone grease at this particular point, as I said, this is a temporary measure. All I want to do is make sure the connector is sealed to the shell. Okay, so what I'm actually doing now is turning the connector, and all I'm actually doing, as I say, I'm sure some people will actually leave comments or tell me I'm using the wrong sealant or adhesive, whatever. I'm using silicone grease because I'm actually going to try and show you how we clean the capillary filler. Okay, so that's nice and hand tight. What I'll do is just clean off any excess grease, because I've got it on my fingers and I wasn't prepared, and I normally use a nice little toothpick. So there we have it. So what we've done, we've put it all back together again. As I say, the silicone grease is only there just to make a little seal so we can actually show you how to clean the pen, or clean the capillary filling system, if you like. Now incidentally, while I'm actually showing you the pen, inside the Parker 61 capillary fountain pen, just to the bottom here, what you'll actually find is a spring-loaded seal, if you like, or a valve inside here. And what happens is, once the capillary filler goes inside the barrel, as I say, this little valve or seal inside the barrel there covers the end of the capillary cell there and seals it for you, if you like, and stops, supposedly to stop it leaking. So just inside there, as I say, we've got this loaded seal valve, if you like, inside. I don't think we could actually show it to you because it's a little bit difficult, but it's actually inside the barrel there. So let's put the barrel to one side. Now, if for any reason you actually receive the capillary filler like that and you don't actually want to go through the stages of removing the hood or the collector, etc., and you don't feel confident with that, but what you will find is that a lot of these pens, the reason Parker stopped using or stopped the production of this particular capillary system was that it was actually prone to clogging. So the capillary system didn't last, it didn't last that long in production because, well, basically they tended to clog. Okay, so what I suggest you do, if you want to clean it, what I have is this particular tool here. Now this basically I bought at a local charity shop, and what it was actually a dust blower for a camera, and what we simply did is just simply cut off this little bit at the end here. Okay, now I've cut it off so that nice and simply the capillary fill system, or cell if you like, can sit inside there like so. Okay, what we'll actually do at this point, I've actually come prepared with a bit of water and this little jar here to expel any water. Now, sorry, before we show you this, as I said before, this pen is filled by simply, if this was ink, to fill this capillary system, what you actually do is actually immerse the end of the capillary system into the ink. Okay, this is water because what we're going to be doing, we're going to be cleaning it. And what you'd actually do is immerse the capillary system in the ink, and through the capillary action it would actually fill with ink. Okay, now once you remove it, as I say, because it's got this Teflon coated, It's supposed to be nice and clean system, so what you do, just simply give it a wipe. Now again, to clean the capillary system, what I do is install this blower to the end, and in fact I don't know if you can actually see that. You can't see the top of it, but all I'm simply doing now is actually just simply pressing. There we go, we're actually just simply pressing the bulb to the top there. Okay, now the problem, if you like, with the capillary system is to clean these systems is, well, it's quite a long job. So what we've done there, we've just dipped it a little bit. Now we've just dipped it into the water again, and what you've got to keep on doing, ladies and gentlemen, you've just got to keep doing this particular process, if you like. Sort of dip it in the water, give it a little bit of a wipe, pop the blower on top again, and again, hopefully you can hear me, or what I'll do this time, I'll show you, I'm actually pressing. There you go, you can see we've got little blobs of dirty water in there. Depending actually who you ask, some people actually, what they'll actually do, they'll put this blower on top and they'll actually insert the hood, if you like, in the water, and they'll simply press and press, and what it'll actually do is draw in the water, and then when you press it, it'll push the water out of the nib section. Personally, the way I prefer to do it, it's very long-winded, it takes a long time, is just keep on dipping the capillary filler as we did before, let it fill with water, place your bulb on top, press the bulb, and what you'll find is just bit by bit you'll get this dirty water coming out, and eventually, after numerous sort of times of doing this particular process, what you'll find is the water that actually comes out of the pen then becomes clear. Once it's clear, place the capillary end in some tissue, or if you wish, you can simply turn it over, place the nib end in some tissue and leave it overnight to dry, and what you should find then, that the capillary filling system is nice and clean, and you're ready then to, rather than fill it with water, you can fill it with your favourite ink. Okay, so I hope that's a little bit clear, and I hope that helps you regarding cleaning your capillary pen. As I say, don't dismantle it if you can help it, because they are very susceptible to breakage, and what I said before, if it's dirty, just simply try and find one of these particular little tools here and just done what we've simply done there. Or if you wish, if you don't mind getting ink in your mouth, what you can actually do is go to a sink, as before, dip the end of the capillary cell into the water, leave it a few seconds, and then simply put the pen over a sink, put your mouth over this particular end here and blow as hard as you can. I mean, you might get a little bit dizzy now and again, but that's another way of actually doing it. Just simply blowing into the capillary cell to the top there will also push out any dirty water. But as I say, the way I prefer to do it, it is long-winded, it does take quite a while, it's just simply using this bulb blower here. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. I've done that particular video because somebody requested and said to me, well, can you show us how to clean the Parker 61 capillary filler? So I hope this video's actually helped you with your Parker 61 capillary filling cleaning process. And as I said before, and as I say in all my videos, don't forget there's plenty more videos on my YouTube channel. Don't be shy, leave some comments, but just for now, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'll just simply say bye bye now.